Hey guys, Justus here with Filmmakers.com, the largest online film academy in the world, and in this video I want to speak to all of you filmmakers out there that are thinking about jumping into the industry. Maybe you're wanting to start your own film business, or maybe even just have a side hustle making videos. I want to help all of the beginner filmmakers out there decide what gear to buy to start out in this industry. Now, if you're already a successful filmmaker and have your own film business, or maybe you're wondering if you should upgrade from the GH5S to the new GH6, then this video probably isn't for you. This video is for all the beginner filmmakers out there that want to get a better idea of what gear they need to buy without breaking the bank. Now, many filmmakers will just tell you what types of gear you should buy, but I want to give you my recommendations on specific gear to buy so that if you wanted to start filming today, all you would have to do is put all of these in your cart and you'd be done. Now, of course, that being said, after you get the gear you need, or maybe even before you start shopping, you need to know that it doesn't matter how expensive or high quality your equipment is if you don't know how to use it. Having the equipment to start filming is an absolute must, but so is the education on how to put it to use. If you've done any searching of your own online, you've probably seen that film school is way too expensive, and even online film courses are close to $1,000. And you might be thinking to yourself, how on earth am I going to be able to afford all the gear I need and the education? Luckily for you, you are in the right place. And as a matter of fact, so many other people have asked us that exact same question, which is why at Tomorrow's Filmmakers, we have over 1,000 training videos and over 100 hours of content on every single aspect of filmmaking taught by leading professionals in the film industry for only $97. We've helped over 15,000 filmmakers quit their day jobs, start their film businesses, and even some go from film hobbyists to award-winning filmmakers. We understand how important it is to be able to afford all the gear you need, as well as the education. So if you want to take advantage of this crazy deal, you can check out our website in the link below and head on over to tomorrowsfilmmakers.com to learn more. Now, here's the thing when it comes to owning a film business. You have to have equipment. There's no way you can build a film business with no way to film. I mean, there's some jobs out there where you can just use your brain and there's not a lot of physical things that are involved, but with filmmaking, you need equipment too. I mean, you wouldn't start a tree cutting service without first owning a chainsaw. Even if it's a small, cheap one, just to get you started, you still have to own some equipment. So I would first like to start by giving you guys a very famous quote when it comes to building any business, and that is, you have to spend money to make money. There's always money involved when you're starting a business. So determine how much you can spend to get the best equipment possible to learn with. Now, am I suggesting that you purchase $40,000 worth of equipment right up front? Absolutely not. I mean, even if you had that kind of budget, I wouldn't want you to spend that. But it does mean that you can't run a successful film business without first investing something into the equipment. So for this video, I'm going to try to do something crazy. I'm going to try to keep everything we talk about under $1,500. Yes, everything you need to get started under $1,500. Now, of course, if I had the choice, I would definitely suggest you go purchase the newest Panasonic or Sony camera. That's like $5,000, and it would be incredible. But I know from personal experience that a lot of people don't want to do that, maybe because you aren't sure if this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, or maybe it's something you just want to dabble in, or you're unsure, or maybe you don't have that kind of budget. Whatever it is, we want to keep the budget under $1,500 so you can have everything you need to get started. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is very obvious, but I just want to get this out of the way at the beginning, and that is your camera. Buying your camera is by far the most important part of this entire journey and the most essential tool for what we do. Like most things on this list though, when it comes to camera shopping, I would say most of this comes down to personal choice and preference, and most importantly, budget. If you already have a camera, use it. But if you're wondering what equipment we would recommend getting started, here's what you need. If you want to jump into the DSLR world, the #1 cameras that I would recommend all of our students to get, no matter who you are, if you have a very low budget, the two best beginner cameras on the market today are the Canon M50 and the Sony ZV-E10. They both shoot in 4K and are the perfect camera to start with. But unfortunately, they can also be upwards of $700 to $800. If you can afford that, then go for it. But if you have absolutely no budget and you want to keep everything under $1,500, the #1 camera that you need to buy is the Canon Rebel T2i. It will only cost you about $150 on eBay or maybe even less. It's an awesome little camera that's perfect for beginners. It has interchangeable lenses, it shoots 1080p, and you can always get Magic Lantern to unlock even more features. Now, I recommend this camera to all of our students who are starting out with pretty much no budget. If you have a little bit higher budget, I would highly recommend the Canon SL2 on eBay. The reason is because it shoots in 60 frames per second at 1080p, which will give you really high quality slow motion. Now, of course, these cameras came out a long time ago and we would want you to upgrade, but if you don't have a budget, get one of these cameras instead of just running out there with your cell phone. If you have a little bit higher budget, definitely get the Canon M50 or the Sony ZV-E10 and then slowly upgrade from there. I bought a Canon 7D back in 2008. After that, I owned a Canon 60D, then I bought a Panasonic GH4, a Panasonic GH5S, and then a Red Scarlet. So I didn't just dive into the deep end of the pool and buy a Red Scarlet right at the beginning. I started out where I could afford and then worked my way up. And if you want to know exactly how to master all the settings in your camera, you can check out our YouTube video on mastering your camera in 20 minutes. Next is your lens. Now, the great thing about starting out is that many cameras that you will buy usually come with a lens or two, especially if you buy them used. Maybe you bought a package deal or something like that. So whatever lens your camera comes with, use it. I mean, the 18-55 or the 28-135 kit lens that came with a lot of Canon DSLRs is perfect to start with. I mean, I would definitely suggest upgrading eventually, but they will give you the ability to make some videos, learn about different focal lengths, and just be able to practice without breaking your bank. After that, I would highly recommend a 50mm prime lens. Now, the f1.8 is only around $100 and the f1.4 is around $350. Either one you get though, a prime lens is a necessity whenever you're a filmmaker. After that, I would either get a wide angle lens or a zoom lens, depending on what you film the most. I typically use my wide angle lens 10 times as much as I would use a zoom lens. So I would purchase a Tokina, maybe 11-16mm first, then a 70-200 telephoto lens. When you can afford it, the Canon L series lenses and Sigma prime lenses are absolutely beautiful. I would highly recommend a 50mm and a 35mm, but it all depends on what you shoot. But again, sticking with that $1,500 budget, use your kit lens that comes with your camera and then buy a 50mm prime lens. And if you want to learn everything about lenses, you can check out our most recent YouTube video on mastering your lenses. Next, and a very, very important topic, is support. And yes, this comes before anything else. Some people suggest, oh, grab a stabilizer or a glide cam right at the beginning of your career because they love the style and they love the look. And yes, I personally have a glide cam and a Ronin S, and that's something that comes with experience. But what I'm talking about, and the thing that I would recommend, is a solid tripod for your camera. And when looking for a good tripod, you want to get one that says fluid head or drag system. And this means that it's meant for video. The tripods that you find at places like Walmart are not meant for smooth motions at all, and they're really almost impossible to make smooth. So when looking for a tripod, you want to look for one that says fluid head. And you can actually find some pretty cheap ones on Amazon for around $75 to $100. But we wouldn't recommend going any cheaper than that, because anything less than $100 or so is just garbage. But my personal favorite to all beginners is the Davis & Sanford FM18 tripod, and it is fantastic. I personally used this tripod for many years before upgrading, and it's incredible. Not only is it super smooth, it's also super high quality and looks really professional. If you show up on set with kind of a dinky tripod, it doesn't look very good, but if you show up on set with this tripod, you'll look very professional because it's super high quality. So invest in a good tripod because it can last your filmmaking career. If you want to upgrade, the Manfrotto and Benro tripods are the way you need to go. They are incredible. But the moral of the story is, get a set of legs for your camera and you will not regret it. If you'd like to learn more, you can check out our YouTube video explaining all about tripods. Next is audio. Now for me, Rode microphones are some of the greatest microphones out there for filmmakers like you and me. You can buy so many different versions of them. You can buy the Rode VideoMic Pro that goes on top of your camera, or you can buy the NTG2 or NTG3 and have a shotgun mic that you can put on a boom pole. but they are amazing, and I would highly recommend Rode microphones. Now, there are many different microphones out there, and we talk all about audio inside Tomorrow's Filmmakers, but those are the microphones that I would recommend. As for audio recorders, I have always loved Zoom audio recorders. I've used both Zoom and Tascam, and I find that I like Zoom a little bit better. And you can get them actually pretty cheap. A Zoom H1 is only about $100. You can get an H4n and then an H6 and an F8, and there are absolutely a ton of field recorders out there, and they just keep going up in price with better features and better quality. But what you need to do is you need to buy a field recorder first and then a microphone. Now, with every new camera that comes out, they're always upgrading features and adding new settings, but DSLRs have never really focused on audio that much because they are picture cameras first with a video option. So there are many audio settings in a DSLR that really aren't that good, and some of the older DSLRs don't even have audio settings. So when buying a microphone, don't just plug it into your camera, plug it into something that will give you tons of settings and control. Buy a field recorder first. A Zoom field recorder is a great option, and then buy a microphone, which again, we would recommend Rode microphones, and then you plug them in and you will have fantastic quality audio. We have an in-depth audio course inside Tomorrow's Filmmakers, so you can check that out if you'd like to learn more. Now, right now, we are only at about $750. Again, we have the bare bones minimum that you'll need, but these are the pieces of equipment that you need to get started. Now, you could, of course, just start with this, or maybe buy a $700 camera instead of the cheaper one, and it's entirely up to you. But these are the few pieces of gear that are essential to you as a filmmaker, and you need to buy them as soon as possible. But continuing with our $1,500 budget, next would be a gimbal. Since gimbals came out, they have pretty much become a staple in filmmaking, and if you don't have one, your projects will not look nearly as good as the competition. Believe me, I started out when there were no gimbals. I purchased a glide cam when they first came out, and now I own multiple gimbals. And you can see the quality of my projects increase as I was able to add more motion and smooth movements into my filmmaking. Now, the good thing is you can get a really nice gimbal for really cheap, actually. There are a bunch of manufacturers on the market today, but we would highly recommend DJI. They have their Ronin SC, which is only $270 brand new, and if you can find it used for cheaper, go for it. I used to tell our students that a gimbal wasn't quite as necessary when they first came out, but now, believe me, all right, it's the one piece of equipment that will set you apart from the competition. We have multiple YouTube videos on gimbals and glide cams, so go check those out for more information. Next, we have lighting. This, of course, is vital to filmmaking, but you can get into the industry without it for a little bit. I know many filmmakers who start out filming mostly outdoor weddings or camp videos and projects that don't require any lights. But if you start to get further into the business, you'll definitely need some lights. Now, we highly recommend aperture lights for any filmmaker, no matter where you are in your filmmaking journey, if you're just starting out to experts. But sticking with that $1,500 budget, the lighting equipment we would recommend is the Godox SL150, which is $250. And then you're definitely going to need a softbox to put over that, which is another $150. If you purchase these two pieces of equipment, you will be ready to film any interview, any camp video, any ice cream shop promo, whatever it is, you will have the lights that you need. If you'd like to learn more about lighting, we have an in-depth lighting course inside Tomorrow's Filmmakers, and also be sure to check out our YouTube video on 8 steps to cinematic lighting. Okay, right now we are around $1,400 without tax. Now, the final piece of equipment that you need is an editor. You can get all this equipment and film, but then you have absolutely no way to edit it. The number one editor that we recommend would be Adobe Premiere Pro. And we don't get any commissions or affiliate sales by saying this or sending you to some link to buy and then we get a kickback from it. They just really are the best we have used, and we have used a lot. The Creative Cloud Suite is $52 a month, which comes out to $600 a year. And what's amazing is that everyone who signs up for Tomorrow's Filmmakers gets 60% off the Creative Cloud Suite. That saves you $360 a year. So by signing up for our $97 course, you actually save $360. And if you use Adobe for multiple years, that's thousands and thousands of dollars saved, all by signing up for our $97 course. But if you don't want to get the Creative Cloud Suite, there are a few cheaper and some free options as well. Final Cut Pro is a one-time purchase of $300, and inside Tomorrow's Filmmakers, you also save $100 on that. DaVinci Resolve is a one-time payment of $295, but actually has a free version that you can use, which works fantastic. There are even some really cool third-party editors like HitFilm. Their editor is around $400, but has a free version that is called HitFilm Express and works fantastic. Either way, whichever editor you decide to use, we have in-depth training courses on every single one of them. So no matter what you edit with, Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, HitFilm Express, we will teach you exactly how to use it inside Tomorrow's Filmmakers. With that, you have now purchased all the gear that you need to get started in the film industry. This is all the gear that I started out with, and that so many other filmmakers like me have started out with. Now, of course, like I said at the beginning, these pieces of equipment will get you started, but if you have a higher budget or want to invest more, I would suggest upgrading everything on this list. And that's the point of this list. Now that you have it, simply upgrade every item on this list and you will have all the equipment that you need. So I hope this video has really helped you guys out and you feel more confident in what you should purchase in getting started. If you'd like links to all of the equipment that we just mentioned in our $1,500 package, you can click the kit page in the link below and you can see everything that we talked about. Now, even if you get all of this equipment though, if you don't know how to use it, it doesn't matter what kind of equipment you have. If you get the best camera in the world but don't know how to edit, it doesn't matter what you shoot, it's going to look terrible. If you have the best microphone in the world, but don't know how to light anything, the video might sound good, but it's gonna look terrible. That's why we created Tomorrow's Filmmakers, to give filmmakers the ability to purchase the equipment they need and the education on how to use it. You no longer have to decide between the gear or the education. With over 1,000 training videos and over 100 hours of content, our $800 award-winning online film course is yours for only $97. We've helped over 15,000 other filmmakers just like you quit their day jobs and become award-winning filmmakers. If you'd like to learn more, click the link in the notes below and head on over to tomorrowsfilmmakers.com and learn all the skills that you need to succeed.